What's good, definitely. So, um, I like to call this my dark room because obviously it's plain dark. You can't really see my face. This is where I express my feelings. You know, um, tomorrow's NFL kickoff, and we had two games that took place Thursday and Friday. I don't know if the NFL is going to have every game Friday because I know they have like Thursday night football and stuff like that. Um, but it was great. You know, you know, um, the Ravens again losing, obviously. But they will meet each other down the road, obviously, when the playoff begins. They will meet each other. Maybe by then the Ravens will have the last laugh and finally dethrone the Chiefs, or the Chiefs will continue their dominance over them. Um, the Eagles versus the Packers. I knew the Eagles was going to win that game because of the impact that Saquon Barkley had. I watched the video today, and it was pretty. It was pretty good. Saquon Barkley left briefly, returned, finished the game strong. He had 3 touchdowns. You would probably say that was his biggest performance since I think his rookie year. With the Giants. But he finished the game. He was hyped. He was excited, and he showed up. He showed up and he showed out. So kudos to him. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Saquon. I know a lot of Giants fans are going to be feeling some type of way, but F them. It is what it is. When Jeremy Shockey left the Giants, how come they didn't show their true colors then? Or when when Tiki Barber retired, how come they didn't show their true colors then? But when it comes to Saquon Barkley, it's like it is what it is. So I did have the Ravens winning. I need to go back and look at my week 1 previews. I did a week 1 preview. I did have the Ravens winning that one. So right now I'm technically 1-1. But we'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm only doing week 1. Last year I did 1 through 9. I did week 1 through 9. So I didn't feel like doing that, to be honest with you. Maybe next year I'll do it. I'll do 1 through 9. But I'm just gonna do week 1, and that's it. And yeah. So the Vikings taking on the Giants. Okay, so I know the Giants fans going to be prisoner of the moment and say, oh, we've beaten the Vikings, in the playoffs. Yeah, they beat us in the regular season, but we have the last laugh in the playoffs. The Vikings was actually a bad defensive team. They revamped, they retooled, they went out with free agency, got a whole bunch of players. So Daniel Jones is not going to be facing the same defense as he was facing 2 years ago. They added some new pieces. They just don't have Kirk Cousins, which I believe was a huge upgrade. Sam Darnold, if Sam Darnold can come in here and just operate the offense, don't make a lot of mistakes. I mean, he can literally throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, because people have to understand, once a quarterback goes to a new situation, he plays totally different. You know, like the Jets didn't help Sam Darnold at all. You know, now that he's going to a new team with better weapons, better running game, and improved defense, it's going to show. I do have the Vikings winning that game because the Giants do not do well in their home opener for some odd reason. They're like what 1-6, 1-7. So the only win that came from that record was against the Titans a few years ago. I think last year or the year before that. So that's the only win that they have, you know. But the thing is, it's not a primetime game, so Daniel Jones should ball out, you know. And even if he does ball out, I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. And sometimes when the Giants have these ceremonies where it's like 100 years, which is basically 50, it's not 100. I don't know why people are saying it's 100 years, you know. It's basically 50 years because 10 years ago they were celebrating 90 years, right? So it's basically 50 years they celebrating, not 100, you know. But you know. But anyways, like when the Giants have these ceremonies where they're celebrating, and, you know, whether it's like, you know, honoring, you know, the legends or just, you know, honoring, you know, how many years the franchise has been through, the Giants always have bad luck. They always have bad luck. Like I remember 2009 where they got obliterated. They got obliterated against the Panthers. It was actually at home. And they got obliterated 49-9 or 41-9. But I don't know. The Giants don't play well at home. I don't know what it is. You know. I think they'd rather play well on the road. I think they're a very good road team and not a home team. I don't know why. You know, they just don't show up. You know. Now, obviously, last year they got dismantled against the Cowboys, and I wanted the NFL to renew that battle. You know, because we wanted a piece of Dak too. You know what I'm saying? But now we have to face another non-division opponent. It's like, oh, God. And then, if we lose that, we're facing the Redskins. I'm still going to call them the Redskins. We're going to be facing the Redskins week 2, which is not going to be easy because, you know, they have a new offense and, you know, have a new owner, new GM, new everything. So you know how that goes. You know, they're going to be, you know, probably 2-0 under the head coach or 1-0 under the head coach, depending if they could beat Tampa. So they could be sitting at 2-0. We could be sitting at 1-0-2. Cowboys already didn't play yet, so the Eagles already won their division. The Eagles already won their game, so they're top of the division until, you know, Monday comes. But yeah, I don't expect much from Daniel Jones at all. You know, Malik Neighbors, I think he'll do fine, but I don't think he's going to get the target that he thinks he's going to get because the ball's going to be spread out so much, you know. Now, the good thing is we don't have nobody in the injury report, so that's good. But yeah, man, it's like one of those days, you know, just, you know, sit back and just realize, like, damn, you know, it's scary, you know. Like, you want this team to do good, you know. Like I said in my community tab, when the New York Giants are playing well, the NFL it works so much for the NFL because now the NFL don't even look at big market teams anymore like they used to. You know, um, now they look at just franchises and like the Chiefs have been stuck for years. They had great talent over the years, but they just couldn't get it together. You know, I mean, you had until you had Tony Gonzalez, you had Dante Hall, you had Trent Green, you had Jamal Charles, you had you know Bowe, you know Dwayne Bowe. So the Chiefs always had great talent. You know, had Johnson. I believe they had Eric Berry at some point. So the Vikings, I mean not the Vikings, the Chiefs always had great talent. They just didn't know how to put it together. You know, now you look at them now, it's like, damn, they already won 3 Super Bowls. You know, or they won 2 Super Bowls. You know, um, and I think me personally, the Chiefs can be beat. You know, they can be beat. It's going to take 4 quarters to beat them, though, depending if you go to overtime. But if you could put your best foot forward and your best team forward, you have a shot of beating them. They're unbeatable. They can be beat. You just got to know how to beat them. I mean, go back and watch film on the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl that they lost to against the Buccaneers. Go back and look at that tape. All you got to do is just frustrate Patrick Mahomes, get him off his rhythm. You know, and if you let him sit back and dissect you, then he's probably gonna do that. Um, but if you have very good pass rushers, multiple pass rushers, kind of like the 49ers, um, you know, then you could get the job done. The only 2 teams I would probably say that will give the Chiefs fits is the Bengals and the LA Chargers. Those are the only 2 teams I think that can give the Chiefs a run for their money. The Bills, no. Ravens, I mean, you saw that Friday, you saw that Thursday. They have the potential, you know. But Lamar Jackson is just a choker, you know. He does not do well in big games at all. Like if this was like a 1 o'clock game. I mean, I think Lamar Jackson suffers the same thing Daniel Jones suffered from. It's like they can't get over their big games, you know. Now, again, people might say, well, Daniel Jones does have a playoff win under his belt. Yeah, he does. So does Mark Sanchez, you know. But you have to go farther than that. Like, yeah, one playoff win is not going to cut it, you know, because that's all we're going to remember of Daniel Jones. You know, oh, remember that one time he beat yeah, but they were facing a very bad defense. And yeah, I saw it the whole entire season because I got a lot of Vikings games that year. I just didn't show it because I didn't really care, but I got a lot of Vikings games, you know. Um, it's crazy because I live in Florida, so you expect me to watch, Uh, I mean, I live in Tampa, but um, you know, you're gonna be seeing different, you know, games. Like I get a lot of Buccaneers games down here. No, I get a lot of Tampa. No, I get a lot of Miami and Jaguar games. I sometimes get a little. I sometimes get a few Tampa Bay games, unless they like playing on prime time. Um, but yeah, this team can be beat. You know, um, you just have to have the right, not the right team, but you just have to have a team to challenge them. You know, they're not being challenged. That's that's the issue. Like if you put a great team, not really great, because no teams is great anymore. But if you put a solid team behind them or against them, I should say, then it's gonna take all 4 quarters to beat them. It's not gonna take 2 quarters to beat them or a half to beat them. 'Cause you could be up by 3 touchdowns and then boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, you find yourself within 1 touchdown. You find yourself within you find yourself down 1 touchdown. You know, um, but you put all 4 quarters together, I think you could beat them. You know, or maybe this is the Ravens' year. Maybe the Ravens from now on they'll probably win like 10 straight. After this loss, like trust me, you'll see the Ravens probably like 9-1. You know, because you look at I haven't really looked at the schedule, but looking at their schedule, they have like I think the fourth easiest schedule because they're doing like strength of schedule whatever. So the Ravens have like the fourth easiest schedule. So they'll probably go like 10, 11 and 3 or whatever. They'll lose at least 2 more games, and then they'll probably go like, you know, 12 and or 14 and 3, whatever. Um, you know, but yeah, you just put your best foot forward, your best team forward, you know, and you're gonna need a lot of weapons on offense and defense, you know. Because I don't think Patrick Mahomes played particularly well. I think they didn't even target Travis Kelsey at all. They targeted him a few times, but not consistently. Everything went to, the receivers. Um, so yeah. Um, yeah. Week one should be very boring and yet interesting. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Like, comment, subscribe to the next one. Take care of yourself.